Well, hello, General Hospital Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap fan today's daily recap is for Tuesday, December the 17th, 2024. Well, we get Lulu and Brooklyn running into each other. And boy, did they clash. Lulu immediately stank faced as she looked at Brooklyn, and Brooklyn fed right back on that energy, you know. And she says, "Oh, uh, Lulu, I didn't know you were going to be spending the night." And she goes, "Well, Tracy and I were getting caught up, and it was late last night." She insisted. She goes, "Oh, Granny always, being nice or whatever she said." So, Lulu sniped and says, yeah, a lot. And Tracy, BOQ said, a lot of things have changed, Lulu. Time didn't stop for everybody else like it stopped for you. She goes, yeah, I'm just surprised, though, that you and Dante didn't get together. She's like, no, we didn't. I am happily married now. She says, oh, I know, I heard with Detective Chase and Brooklyn. So anyway, they sniped and whatever. When Dante walks in, is everything okay in here? And Lulu's like, I got to get some air. So she walks out, and BOQ is saying, Dante, I'm happy for you and Rocco, but Lulu cannot let go of the past. Lulu does not like me, and I don't like her either. And we never will. And so Brooklyn made a little uh pun at Lulu talking about, because she said something about Maxie. And so she says, yeah, about we're Maxie's friends or something like that. And Lulu kind of looked, because see, now Brooklyn and Maxie are friends. Lulu does not know what Brooklyn did for Maxie. That's another story to get caught up on later, right? Um, and while Brooklyn and Dante were talking, she goes, could you imagine if Lulu ever found out about what happened at that summer at camp? And Dante looked around. He goes, and she never will. Like, that's ancient history. Bringing it up again. See, they are, even though they're dragging their feet, why, I don't know, about that summer at camp, Gio's going to be her son. Watch, Brooklyn is going to have a hard time getting pregnant. Watch. So they always do that in soap. Something's wrong with her. Something's wrong, because she said she and Chase have been trying for months. And then this last month, she goes diligently, and nothing is happening. So watch. It's going to be a little, and then she's going to end up being able to have one. Um, Lulu goes to the stables, and she runs into Cody, and she goes, "Oh, so you happen to work here?" And he goes, "Cody Bell at your service." He said, "Lulu Spencer. I didn't recognize you." He says, "Perhaps it was the hoodie, you know?" So they're talking, and Lulu, he goes, "And shame on you for getting in a car with a stranger." And Lulu said, "That's because I knew I could take you. Your side was hurting from your surgery. You could barely sit up in the seat, but you could take him." Okay, Lulu, come on. So Dante walks in, and he sees how they're kind of comfortable, Cody and Lulu talking to each other. See, I could tell there's gonna be a little triangle there, right? Talking to each other. And he's just kind of looking like, Cody, don't slip up and say too much, because Cody knows what happened that summer, and he'll bring it up in a heartbeat, right? But anyway, we could tell that's to come, more to come with that. um Tracy sniped at Sasha because Lulu liked eggs Benedict, and Sasha prepared two scrambled egg breakfasts. And Tracy came in, and Sasha was there with Olivia, read her up one side and down the other, and Sasha snapped, put her in her place. She says, they are just eggs, Tracy. And if you want eggs a certain way, something like make up yourself. She said something to her. And she went storming out of there. And Tracy looked, and Olivia looked at her. She said, Tracy, that was uncalled for. She goes, oh no, that was the help. And did you hear how she talked to me? She goes, Tracy, what the way you talked to her was uncalled for. I've got some kind of 7 fish dinner, something. She goes, and for Christmas that I'm making, and Sasha is needed to help me. Tracy goes, I could just call a service and they will have a replacement cook here in no time. I wanted to do that all along. And Olivia says, for the holidays? Do you seriously think you would get any kind of replacement cook this close to the holidays? She goes, on top of the fact, we like the cook we have. The kids love Sasha's cooking. And you know what, Tracy? If Sasha quits, I am going to tell Monica what you did. And you and the 7 fishes will be out on the curb so fast your head would spin. And Tracy just looked, right? Now, Maxie was in the tack house giving Cody an invite to Christmas. And of course he was gonna pass, and she ends up talking to him, blah, blah, blah. And Tracy came in. This is before Lulu came in. Tracy, no. I forget the timeline. Who was there first, Lulu or Tracy? Um, Tracy comes in looking for Sasha, and Cody says she doesn't come down here very much anymore, Tracy. And she goes, she was way out of line. The way she talked to me, I was polite. And they both looked at her like, Tracy, you don't know you don't know how to spell polite. It was uncalled for, her response. And so Maxie says, oh, okay. She thought about it. She goes, oh, I get it. I know why. She goes, Tracy, it had nothing to do with eggs. Because she goes, over some eggs. She goes, it has nothing to do with eggs. Today is the anniversary of Sasha's baby Liam's death. This was the day that she and Brando took him off of the ventilator or life support or whatever it was. And Tracy she goes, oh, she's just sitting. She goes, so bear with Sasha, have some grace, Tracy. She's grieving. And so Tracy says, thanks for the information. So Sasha had headed over to the church. Sonny was there giving the priest his annual donation. And he also was talking about making arrangement, paying for families in needs, for trees, for Christmas dinner, for some toys for their kids. And he wanted the father to arrange it. Remember last year, he made that big generous donation for the kids at the hospital. This time he's doing it more on a community level. So Sasha walks in and the priest greets her, and Sonny's, say hi, Sasha. And she tells him, I just came to light some candles. So the priest says, take all the time you need. And he walked out and she lit 2 candles and she went to the front and she sat down. And Sonny went up to the front and he sat down next to her. And Sonny told her, he goes, I know why you're here. And she looked at him and she said, you do? And he says, yeah. Today's the anniversary of your baby Liam's death. And she looked at him. She goes, thank you for remembering. He goes, you and Brando had a very difficult decision to make. And you both made it for your little boy. he needed you to let him go. Sonny was very comforting. Come on. Sonny's open for business now. He's hanging his shingle and he's there for everybody, right? He really is. So, anyway, he was saying, I hope someday that you're able to have another child, Sasha. He said, because that child will be so lucky to have you as a mother. And she said, thank you. And so he leaves, and Tracy's coming in, and he passes Tracy going down the aisleway. And he says, be nice, Tracy. And she looks at him like, you know. So she walks up to the front. She goes, can I sit here? And Sasha looks at her. She goes, if you must. So Tracy sat down and she wholeheartedly apologized to Sasha. And Sasha accepted her apology. She said, but Tracy, this is not the first time. She says, I get the fact that I work. And actually, she doesn't work for Tracy. I work for you. The to me the common the phrase should have been I work for your house. I work for your family, right? Not she doesn't work for Tracy. She says, however, she goes, and she says, I expect some constructive criticism when I make mistakes. But as far as abuse and just being generally disrespectful, she says, I will not tolerate that from you, Tracy, because I do not deserve that. She says, and if you can't respect that, then we can't go any further. And Tracy says, I can respect that. And Sasha said, can you respect me? She goes, you don't have to like me. But I will be respected and treated with respect. So Tracy's like, okay. Tracy likes somebody that will stand up to her. She always has. She really always has. So, they got off on a good foot. Well, ended on a good foot. Sasha, uh, as Tracy is leaving, a guy in a tam came in with his head down. Now, see, to me, that was the creepy telltale. You walking into the church. For one, you're not taking your hat off, cap off, whatever it is, out of respect for the place you're walking into. You got your head, your collar up, head down as you walking by. Tracy should have stopped. Doggone camera. Should have stopped and kind of looked at him like, what's going on with this bozo? Right? So he sits down 2 pews behind Sasha. Now, Sasha can't tell somebody came and sat down. Why? She's just oblivious to her surroundings. And she's praying to God out loud about protecting her and this new baby. Watching for Brando and Liam to watch after them and yeah, whatever. So at the end of her prayer, Sidwell lifts his head up and he looks. And I said, Sidwell, why is he back? I mean, Holly only had one of his diamonds. What did he do? Did he go and count them and realize he's short? I mean, come on now. What is it worth being caught for the one diamond? Because guess what? Remember, Brennan, Jack, alluded to the fact that he knew where Sidwell was. Well, I guess not. And what's interesting, remember when Sidwell entered back into the country the first time? All kind of red flags came up. And Jack said, okay, Sidwell's in Florida. He's been seen in Florida. No alerts for Sidwell this time? I don't get that. See, and they had better not have Sasha lose this baby. I'm going to be so incredibly pissed off at the writers of General Hospital if Sasha loses. Not because it's Michael's baby, that's irrelevant to me. Sasha deserves a win in her life. She does. This tragedy, always tragedy, where Sasha's concerned is getting old, General Hospital writers. Getting very, very old. Okay? So we'll see what they're going to do with this whole Sidwell storyline. So Anna calls Jason to see her. And of course, Anna has to get all teary eyed. It's all my fault that Dixon. Everything is her fault. Everything. She loves people trying to uh, comfort her. Anna, it's not your fault. Anna, this you can't possibly think this is your fault. So Jason had to pep talk her out of, off of that ledge. I'm like, oh my God, Anna, put a sock in it. So she tells him she can't, she needs to turn over the Valentine investigation to him because she says, I have to find out who killed Dex. And I can't do that, give it my full attention, and be off looking for Valentine. I just can't. So Jason said, okay, he'll take over, you know, the Valentine portion of the case. And then Jason met with Spinelli and said, look, we got to step it up because Spinelli says, yes, yeah, since that big deposit or withdrawal Valentine did, says within a couple of days, that whole account was closed. And Jason said, you think he's going dark? And Spinelli says, yeah. He goes, well, then we got to do something to find him. He might be the one that has spots that's going to take over Spoon Island. We'll see. I don't know. I really don't have a guesstimate on that yet. I really don't. Rick is going to be representing Elizabeth um, with the hospital situation. And he's telling her, he goes, Elizabeth, don't be fooled. They may be nice to you now, but when push comes to shove and lawsuits are going to happen, even though, look, Alexis and them, they're not going to file no lawsuit against the hospital, and Dex's family is nowhere to be found. But he said they are only going to look out for themselves, not you, Elizabeth. And he's right. Remember what they did to Finn when that person's wife said he misdiagnosed or he didn't even catch her husband's cancer? Hospital left Finn out to dry. And so he says, listen. And he wanted Lucky to leave. It was that same old power play between, oh, everybody wants Elizabeth, all her exes. So she says, Rick, I do want Lucky here because he says, I want to interview Elizabeth alone. Lucky, you got to come back another time. And he goes, no, stay right here, you know. And so Elizabeth looked at Rick. She goes, Lucky was a cop, Rick. He's also looking into this matter. I want Lucky here. So Rick ended up telling her, you need to be far away from General Hospital. And she goes, no, I want to be close enough to the patients. I mean, I may not be able to do direct care, but I still want to be a GH. And he says, Elizabeth, right now this is 2 patients that died. He goes, are we sure it's the exact same way as Sam? And so Lucky says, well, the toxicology test has not come back, but the way they died, the symptoms, he says, my guess is it is the same way. So Rick looked at Lucky and said, well, since I'm not relying on you as an expert witness, like, I'll wait for the report. The look was so funny. The way Lucky looked away to the side. Like, I can't believe this bozo just said that to me. Huh. You know, that was funny to me. I laughed when I saw Lucky's face. It was just so natural. Great. He's a good actor. So anyway, Lucky said, I never thought I'd be agreeing with Rick Lansing ever, but Elizabeth, I agree with him. You do need to be away from General Hospital. Rick said, if you feel this is a pattern, that something's going awry at the hospital, he said something else is going to happen. And Elizabeth, if you are there, it's like they can't rule you out. But if you step away from the hospital, you're nowhere around the hospital, and something happens, they know you weren't involved because you were nowhere around the hospital, which was interesting. Rick made a very, very good point. He really did. And I like the point that Rick made. Elizabeth never listens to anybody though, but I like the point that he made. And then last but not least, Sunny walks into Anna's office and she looks at him and she goes, Mr. Corinthos, I didn't call you into my office. He says, yeah, I'm just saving you a phone call. And she goes, what do you mean? Oh, I know you probably have some questions for me regarding Dex's death. I'm saving you the trouble. And so she goes, are you sure you don't need your lawyer present? Should we call Miss Miller? He says, oh, I don't need Diane for this. I didn't have nothing to do with Dex's death. And Anna looked at him. She said, Sonny, I would like to think you have not, or you would not shoot a police officer. And she looked at him because in her she didn't have to say John Cates. She looked at him. She says, but we know, but we all know what that's like, right? Something to that effect, right? And Sonny just looked at her like, I don't know what you're talking about. She says, however, in public at Rice Plaza, kids around, all kind of people around, stabbing someone in the back. She says, oh, that's not your MO. And he looked at her. He says, well, I'm glad you understand that. It's like, he's almost like, I'm glad you know I'm the kind to abduct you, take you to the Pine Barrens and shoot you in the head, or have my men do it. Okay. Or I'm going to shoot you point blank in the chest in a rainstorm. That's my MO. So anyway, he says, look, I want to know. I want the person or Dex's murderer found. If you need any help, he said, call me. And she looked at him and she didn't say, okay, I will. She just like, thank you, whatever she said to him. And I'm thinking, oh, are we softening up, Anna? No, we not. Because when you got your commissioner badge back, oh, you were all over. I'ma bring Sonny Corinthos down. I'm bringing Sonny Corinthos in. Sonny deserves to be behind bars. But see, Anna doesn't have a problem working with Sonny when she feels she needs his help. See, and right now she's stepping over, crossing that line. She just might need Sonny's help. Mm. Now Martin dimed on her. He told Laura what she and Jason did. And Laura's like, I do not condone the way they did. They did what? She says, but I feel I'm to blame for that. And he goes, what are you talking about? She goes, I have been pressuring Anna to find Valentine and bring Charlotte home. And he looked at her. She goes, and it was even before Lulu woke up because I thought she was dying, and I felt Charlotte should be here. And then after Lulu woke up and all Lulu wants to do is see her daughter, I went back to Anna and it put more pressure on her. I'm sorry, Marty. So of course he ended up and like, okay, they didn't rough me up. They didn't really hurt me, but I'm pissed off, right? So he said, you might want to reach out to our other brother. He has connections. And maybe he could have a lead on Valentine and Charlotte. And Laura told him, made a good point. She says, I trust Anna. And her motives, I know what her motives are. She goes, if I go to Cyrus, I don't trust him. And I don't trust his motives. And she was telling him what he did, how he was going to have Lulu moved and all of that. She goes, so no, I will not be getting him involved. And so Martin says, no, you know what? I understand. Because he didn't know that Cyrus is going to have Lulu move. Wait, why would he want to move her out of state, right? So anyway, he's okay with that. So that's about it. Nothing else happened today. Yep, that is absolutely it. Let's go to comment corner. Comment corner. Today, I'm going to start from the bottom of comment corner going up. Okay, and let me start my trusty dusty stopwatch. Okay, the bottom, Rosebud says, wasn't wasn't it great to hear Step Monster Tracy actually seemed happy? Yeah, she was very, very happy. And then Lynn says hi, and I am says hi. Hi to both of you. Then we have I am says Michael doesn't need to die. Recast is needed. For Michael to die, Willow walks away with everything. That is crazy. He does see his wife as a victim. He's he's still blind. Carly handled them. And then M Tree M Tyree says agreed. I think a recast of Michael is inevitable. His character is too important, has too important storyline. It's so true. DB says we need someone to step in as Michael, like the lady playing Lulu and the new Christina. Um, I would rather see him go than the last stand-in take the role permanently. Michael's character is too important, and Michael can't, uh, and Carly can't lose both sons. Please don't let that happen. And then Krista says, "I know that's right," and I agree with all of you. Bottom line, recast. And you're right. The other guy that steps in, who's ex Noah from Young and the Restless, he doesn't have to me enough spunk for Michael. He's good for the one day here and there. But start looking now. They should have started looking a month ago for a recast of Michael because that is a long time staple character for General Hospital in Port Charles. So um they do definitely need to recast that character. And then Wendy says, wow, Dex is gone. Glad Jason was there for her. I mean, Jocelyn. When are they going to really investigate? View film, see the weirdo coming and going. Anna's 007 side will go into overdrive because she knows he's crazy. Nina's gonna ruin Willow even more with her bad advice. Carly was correct to delay them. Michael's coming off like a cream puff. He may explode if he keeps holding it in. Drew is a game player, talking trash about feelings. Someone needs to let Sonny know what's going on. And then Krista says Sonny will go ballistic. And I am says, love how Tracy and Ned tag team Drew. Valentine's a better father than Luke, Victor, Drew, and Nicholas. Yeah, that is so true. And then we have Lucy says Jocelyn saying goodbye was sad. I hope we don't have to see it again tomorrow. DB says I was done with them saying goodbye to Blue Dex. Yeah, they did have him turning blue awfully fast when they left Sam looking beautiful for a long time, right? Jackie says, I bet Willow wouldn't care if Nina slept with Drew. Competition. Well, or don't care if she slept. Uh, yeah. I think she'd care because Drew's supposed to have such feelings for her. How do you have these feelings? You're the only woman I want when you're sleeping with my mama. What's that about? Right? That's like, okay, so now I know we could be married and you're gonna tell me all that as you're sleeping with somebody else. LOL. If she mind, she's gonna try to take try to get back with Michael, or she will never find out. Okay. And then we have Richard says another great review, daily recap. Lady, love your facial expressions. You know what's funny with my facial expressions? I don't even know that I'm making them. I really don't. I'm just talking and it happens. Dacia says Michael doesn't want to be a hypocrite because he had an affair with someone. That's why he didn't want to take his children away from their mother. She's only thinking about Drew. Wait, she's only thinking about Drew was playing her. I don't understand that part. And then P. Merle says Michael should not confess unless Nina confesses too. And will she tell all? But Michael doesn't know about Nina and Drew sleeping together. How about the deal Drew and Nina made to manipulate Willow? Yeah, I know. Melinda says, and did he orchestrate the fake marriage um, with Willow's sister Nell and they had a son together? Michael was a hypocrite and doing that, and of the car confession of her past, and Nell was pregnant and, of course, in labor. Michael attempted to murder Nell's baby. No, he didn't attempt to murder Nell's baby because that's his baby too. Driving reckless and speeding was dangerous with a woman who was pregnant and she was in labor in the middle of nowhere and she was fine at GH. And then Annette says, beautiful lady with a hat. To sum it up, like meow meow used to say, it's the pot calling the kettle black. Annette says to P. Merle, a whole bunch of um, the whole bunch at the Christmas party should go to church and confess. That's funny. And then we have Jess K says the audacity of Drew going to the gatehouse. That's what I'm saying. My goodness, stalker much. Looking forward to Michael's next move on Drew and Willow. And then Lashanta says, I'm upset Michael letting everyone play in his face. Drew thinks he's untouchable, hiding behind Willow and the kids. Nina trying to keep the secret. She could have nipped this in the bud. Willow manipulated like Nina. Michael will regret letting his kids go because she's going to take them. I don't trust Nina's influence. Melinda says, trust goes both ways. I trust Nina when I see her face. She was scared and the tears in her face, and she tells Willow everything about her sister. Let me tell you something about Nina and her sister. I mean, Nina and Nell. Nina didn't know Nell was her daughter. So Nina has no good memories of Nell. Nina testified against Nell at the trial for Michael and Willow. Let's not forget that. Nina worked with Nell. Nell was her assistant. And the reason why she testified against her is Nell said she was using that baby to make Michael pay as a pawn. So, no. The tears Nina has for Nell is this storybook. I could have raised my baby even though I was in a 20-year coma. So no, 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 no. There is uh, uh Nina doesn't know enough to tell her everything about Nell because she didn't know Nell like that. Um, her mother and Sonny and Carly took Avery away from Ava. Sonny and Carly. Well, not her mother, but Sonny and Carly. Well, Carly never took Avery away from Ava. It was always Sonny. Sonny and Carly just happened to be together. And Carly loved Avery like her own, thank goodness, right? And then when Ava's in trouble her many times, who does she bring that child to? Ava thought nothing of knocking on Carly's door, saying Avery needs to stay with you for a while. I know you will protect my daughter, and we Ava gone, right? So there we go. Michael did the same thing, taking custody of Avery. Yep, when he was with Santiago, what's her name? Sabrina Santiago. Willow needs her mother so much and takes Amelia and Wiley to live with her. I don't trust the Corinthos family. I trust the Corinthos family more than I trust Nina. I definitely do. And let's see. What else do we have going on? Working my way up. It has to go backwards. And then Lashanta says, I can't wait till she learns she gave up everything for that creep Drew. Why is Drew bringing up the past? You mean everybody, all the other Quartermain past? I know. Willow's at fault as much as Drew. If the thought they would double team, or if they thought they would double team Carly, I don't think so. I can't stand Nina. Michael has been good to that scamp, or even though it says stamp, it must mean scamp. Yvette says Felicia doesn't remember killing Dex. Well, she didn't kill Dex, so I don't quite get that. The killing of Dex, maybe she wasn't there. She didn't walk around by the trash cans. Gina says, what Felicia's missing is the sound of the darn bell that Cyrus was swinging. The bell stopped ringing. That is so true. Gina also says, Willow needs to find out how Nina and Drew manipulated her into a reconciliation with Mommy Dearest. Yep. As well as how Nina was sleeping with Drew the whole time. All right, everybody. That's it for Comic Corner. Last thing as I'm glancing up, Yolanda says Dex isn't dead. You can see it in Silly Anna's face. Nah, unfortunately, Dex is dead. The actor kind of gave his farewell. It was great working with my friends on General Hospital interviews. All right, everybody, that's it. I'll be back tomorrow for another daily recap of General Hospital.